fuck? Read the disclaimer. Alrighty, hello everyone. Okay, see, I got it right. Welcome to the week in review where, no, that's too far away, where we recap the previous week and anything extra. Alrighty, yeah, sorry about, someone pointed this out. Yeah, sorry about the second stream thing there. Yeah, when I'm setting up the stream on this thing, sometimes it'll make a second one and I don't notice it till after, so we apologize for that. But live show today is going to be talking about UX recap, the remake info that we basically got, the cancelled Triopio remake, what I think on it, and we're going to leave this me kind of doing, actually I have to move this around. We're going to leave the recap playing real quick, but essentially this week was pretty big for the news stuff. Monday was what? Triopio news, and then after the Unicorn Sting stuff. Yeah, we did a lot of content with Unicorn. Be mindful, I am getting the testings done. I think it's like it's the longest I've done. 2 hours, I think, or so. So that's gonna be fun. Let me see. Look, see, I got in the right position too on here. Look at that, amazing. And then after, yeah, Saturday the Unicorn Challenge one, which by the way, get your combos in if you have not, because the Sphinx Challenge is gonna be for, I want to say, yeah, we're going to do this thing at the end of the month. I did think to maybe to do the Persona Hell Scythe, but then after I thought, no, I'll just do a separate video. Which, by the way, Persona Hell Scythe I am getting this week, if the customs are nice. If the customs are nice. Because, you know, that's the next topic of the thing. You already know, listen, we got to plug the store, because this is like funding the channel quite a bit, so I have to plug it. I do want to mention, for any stuff that is anything involving Phoenix Wing, I'm waiting for the shipment to clear, so I'm hoping Tuesday, maybe latest Wednesday. Completely depends on the Japan to the Canada's customs and stuff, so that's kind of beyond my control, but I will have some Phoenix Wing stuff there, but yeah, I thought just to mention that actually. Ooh, I forgot to make a graphic for something else. Okay, well, in the meantime, check out the store if you're able to. We have Burst, we have X stuff. It just helps support us, so whatever you're able to, I appreciate it. Okay, actually, I want to give a fun fact. Let me see if I can get the Unicorn bait. Well, I'll just talk about it. Actually, no, I think I have the Unicorn bait. Give me 1 second. Because this is actually pretty nuts that they did this. Okay, I have one Unicorn blade. I've got it in time. Epic. Okay, which one zooms to me? No, that's the faraway one. Close enough. Okay, if you notice on the new Unicorn blade, there, I'm gonna get really close. Okay, if you notice, they basically modified it so that the tabs of it. Oh, I just reset my position. I just realized. Whatever. They modified it to where the tabs now, where you basically hook onto the ratchet, instead of it being like a square shape, it's more cut off, kind of like a right triangle, right? So basically, I've now seen that the reason why also the Phoenix Wings delay and all that stuff is because on the original batch of Phoenix Wing that I got, that's like the first batch. And now I understand why my second batch was delayed and why I had to go through hoops and hurdles to make sure all the customers get the Phoenix Wings from at least the previous one. It's because the new Phoenix Wing, and I'm assuming all this other stuff, is going to be getting the updated batch where it's the mold updates where this holds on the ratchet. And basically what that change means, very good change, because that essentially means now there's less pressure on these plastic parts, so it won't as easily break. And that was a pretty nasty one. But again, it goes to show that Takara Tomy obviously has their eyes on the products. It's not like they aren't paying attention to what's going on if stuff breaks or whatever. So I just want to point that out, because every single time I see, oh my god, Beyblade X breaks, no! And we don't get the context, and then after, how many people actually report on the mold update stuff. So I will probably do a video on the other channel, getting around to that, but yeah, we'll get to that after. So next part is Sphinx. Now, what relevant info did we get of Sphinx? So I would have shown a picture of it from the Twitter. However, I did not get permission, so I cannot do that. So instead, I've done a Photoshop. This is what the colored parts for the Sphinx is going to look like for 480 high taper and 560 orb. The 560 is kind of like this pearlish white, which is going to be pretty nice. The orb is just a basic white. I really wish the bits had different... They're all kind of just one plain color. They don't got any marble texture on it, but... I mean, in terms of the I'm pretty excited for at least the white Sphinx. Although I do have to say, they better release a white version of 980 and Gear Needle to make the anime one. Otherwise, I will be very frustrated. I'll be very frustrated. But I am excited for Sphinx. Sphinx, by the way, for the Unicorn testings, I can give a spoiler already. Unicorn the Blade is very, very, very solid. So... it's really up to the Sphinx release to end off good before UX, because we've had a pretty good kind of consecutive good blades, you know, Dagger, Chain, Phoenix Wing, Wyvern Gale, now Unicorn. So after that, you know, it's really up to Sphinx to be able to carry, because even the design of Sphinx doesn't even look that, like, it looks very close to Night Shield. Will it be better than Night Shield? I don't know. I do want to also point out, I've seen pictures, and the corrected bits for Sphinx, the Gear Needle one, the one we talked about, I think, like, last week, that is indeed the updated mold. So instead of Gear Needle being the original render, where it was like this pointed kind of cone, it's a lot more rounded off, kind of like more of a cone ball shape. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to do it, because it's such a large gap for the team stuff. It always feels so weird how... Usually I'm just used to it being like how they did so many releases at a time, but because they're spacing it out, I'm still not used to that. Okay, so we got the Womp Womp news now. Womp Womp. There's no Triopio remake. It's canceled. I already thought they weren't going to do it, because the language that they used in the posts before, when they're already describing, oh, there are these difficulties in designing it, we don't know if we can. So essentially, they couldn't make it as faithful as the original shape, because Triopio's issue, right? Their reason actually is valid enough, but I still think it's stupid. But they tried to modify it where it basically became this kind of shape. And I am assuming, by the way, how Triopio would have worked. The inner part there would have been the plastic, and the outer ring would have been metal. It's too much game issues. It's too hard to get an over finish on. It's too hard to get an extreme finish on. I think I don't want to say it would have broken... Well, actually, we'll find out. I think it's such a difficult thing to adapt. But my thing is this. I understand they at least tried, by the way. They at least tried. Like, look, they at least made the effort to try to reduce it. They said, oh, it wouldn't be as faithful, whatever. I honestly just wanted to see the release regardless, because if they're that neck deep in it, like, you might as well. So I am a little sad. I would have liked to see it, but they mentioned the whole thing that basically, if it's a winder, like a string, if it's a winder, like a ripcord, that is no issue. There is a gap there. It's not going to hit your fingers. String launchers, because there is no gap, it makes contact with the fingers. I even tried this with a 3D print just to see, or even not 3D print, a regular one just to see. And the reasoning is not wrong. The reasoning is not wrong. So I would have, I don't know, you could have just made some like thing where maybe you put a disclaimer on the box, only used with a one. At a certain point, it's like, why even put the... I understand they didn't design it at that point, but I feel like they should have had more careful consideration before putting it on there, because there at least has to have been some process where they're designing it, or they have all these options. Okay, I know it's got a lot of votes, but why don't we just acknowledge it got a lot of votes, but just say it's too difficult to do because of this reason? But whatever. I mean, we can't win everything. I would have been fine with the scaled down version. No one expected. Yeah, honestly, exactly. I think scaled down would have been fine. I think, honestly, even if you look at the scaled down version, it looks even scarier than I think it's too much of a game balance issue. I think it's a circle shape. Even if the outer ring was metal, it's too hard to balance for the game. Personally, that's what I think. Now, we did get some good news. Huh? They announced for Beyblade Day 3/21, we'll be getting a reveal of the Metal Fight Bay that they have been developing. which is in the X system. Now, obviously, it's Storm Pegasus, which actually, if I double check the results, I'm pretty sure it was Lightning Eldrago, it was like Storm Pegasus, then it was like Galaxy, then it was like Meteor, it was like the Pegasus and the Eldra. Someone can go fact check me right now if they want to. But they're going to reveal it then. So because they're revealing the model, I did try to think, right? Because, you know, they're pretty confident in this reveal. I'm trying to think what would be the release month gap. Now, I'm going to basically go over, I'm going to take a quick picture so I can read off my phone, where we're going to go over all the release stuff, and then after I'll give my thoughts generally on the remakes and the direction I think they're going to take. Where am I? Okay, I am there. What if it's Winged Pegasus? You mean Wind Pegasus. Okay, so going over each of the stuff we're going to be having, it's a string launcher in March, a launcher grip again, UX 1 to 4, and then after that's it for March. And then after April, random booster, Stadium, BXG04. So a BXG04 is like your Dronzer, your Extreme Stadium, one of the gold variants. Now, I do have a potential prediction which could maybe throw us off. I don't know how. It's got to be released somehow, and I'm honestly leaning towards that potentially. I think this shark that we saw, because remember, the shark and the Leon Claw was a similar time of the factory leak. And if they're both around the same time of existing, the implication has to be the production had to have been around the same time, right? If they're both at the same time that we see them, they have to be pretty close. And considering Leon Claw, when is Leon Claw coming? Gold Leon Claws, I think around, I think it's like end of February, I'm pretty sure, something like that. It would make sense the slots for Zero, if it is, to be like a B4 store exclusive, similar to in Beyblade Burst when you saw your Union Diabolos, that type of stuff, which we haven't gotten in a while, but I honest to God cannot think of anywhere else this could fit into the release timeline. So going back to here, because I guess I forgot to get a picture of Drigger S. Going back to here, we could have it where the shark's just there, for which I think the shark is maybe likely that BXG04, unless they want to do a solo release. But don't forget that in Beyblade Burst, they did a random booster where the prize bay was Drigger Fang, right? Drigger Fang random booster. I'm going to verify this, actually. Yes, I was right. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, because Drigger is pretty popular in Japan, because they had to rely on that for a prize bay, that they would do maybe Drigger-esque crossover for the prize, and then after just other bays, which could be the possibility, or the prize bay for the random booster is just going to be maybe some floor boss or some new teammate, and Drigger's the solo release. Or maybe Drigger's like the second prize for the random booster. Or the third option, right? Actually, I probably said even more than that. The other option we could have is that potentially, if they announce Storm Pegasus, now this is not going to happen, this is my hope. They could have Storm Pegasus, maybe part of the random booster, or maybe Drigger solo release, or one or the other, in the same month, or you see Pegasus in, like, June. I think Pegasus you see in June. I'm just trying to spitball right now, just trying to throw it out there, because if it's announced for Beyblade Day, that means the model at least has to been done. Now, most likely, what they'll probably say, and we'll go into the concept art, by the way, credit to Royal Kaiju for the art, and most likely what they're going to say is something along the lines of, the Metal Fights model has been finally completed, we're going over blah 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 specifics, and you will see this released in the summer, or something like that. I think most likely to be reasonable, it's gotta be June. If it's not gonna be April, then it's gotta be June, because we already know that May is the random select, and what do we see in the random select is just the main prize blade. So that's what I'm assuming. Now, and listen, Pegasus, I am very excited for. I'm just very, I know they're not gonna do a rubber flat. Unless the new UX01 has a rubber flat, which should be the drawn, which we'll get to in a moment. You know, I'd be alright if they just did Rush. It's close enough. I'll take whatever. And they'll throw in a 4... They love the 460s, but they love the 460s. So now we're going to go over the... Now, I would usually talk about that other stadium thing, but honestly, we'll get to that in a moment. So we're going to go over all the UX stuff. Actually, I might try to find the stadium image so I can throw that in there. But for all the UX stuff that we know so far, and by the way, all the info on Beyblade UX for all the completed stuff, confirmed, Valentine's Day on the 14th of February. So in terms of the release stuff, so UX1 and UX4 are obviously just going to be the same shared bay, and obviously we know that this is just going to be a drawn variant. It has the same prongs as Team Persona for the design. It's very obvious. Now, recap again what I was told. UX2 should be like a Hell variant, and 3 should be the Wizard variant. We're going to see if it gets like 100%, 2,000% confirmed, whatever. The only thing is that the stadium thing I was told ahead of time ended up being true, so I'm assuming this also has to be true. It's not really like too shocking of a revelation anyways, like, you know, we kind of more or less would have expected something like this. Now, in terms of what I think UX is probably going to be, because I'm trying to think, I don't know if the bottoms maybe get changed completely, but I do believe it's got to be something regarding the blade. And it's going to probably be the marketing's focused around speed. Because if the plastic is there in the center, right? Unless they just want to make all the blades maybe slightly lighter, maybe there could be more weight on the bottom, or maybe their goal is maybe the fastest possible bays, right? Because don't forget, if you've read the latest Beyblade X manga, well, not the bonus chapter, the non-bonus chapter, you will see that they basically talk about this whole thing of the bay time shift. And the bay time shift, well, what exactly is that? The bay time shift is essentially just the speed of the Unseen X. So it makes the most sense to me, right, that they would basically market this in a way where maybe this drawn Beyblade is the fastest drawn ever seen or something like that. Or maybe they have like the fastest stamina type. Because there's nothing really else you can market this as. I don't see how else you can do it. It's either that or they just upgrade the system and they call it, which is also a valid possibility. I'm going to see if I actually got the stadium here. Haha! Thank you, Keo, for the translation. Now, there is this stadium. I'm going to be honest, I do think the stadium probably makes the most sense that this stadium is the one that's going to be released in March. We get 3 bays, and the entry set should just have 1 bay, like a string launcher, and then after the stadium, but I don't know. Actually, an interesting I just thought of this. Do you think maybe they could do something to the bays, maybe to accommodate maybe this stadium? Maybe? I don't know. I was just trying to think. Because of the spacing of how the gears are, maybe, I don't know. Maybe something in that regard. Now, aside from that, I want to kind of leave it to the chats for the speculation. I will also give some I almost tripped on something nice. I will also give some general updates while we are here. For the channel, obviously, the unicorn content you will be seeing this week. I'm hoping for the testing stuff later this week, and maybe, hopefully get the tournament footage also done this week. It takes a long time to edit this stuff. I have to listen for censorship, make sure it's YouTube appropriate. So you'll probably see it this week. The Hellscythe Persona is this week. And aside from that, for other project stuff, I've been delayed with a lot of IRL stuff and fixing that stupid machine that we use. So I've been kind of delayed in that regard, but hoping to get a little bit more production done. I have to talk to a lot of people in the expert field for something I need to figure out, but in regards to the project stuff, not this. This should be solved. Now, there is something I do want to mention, but I'm only mentioning at the end, after the discussion. Stock Leon Clause ST. Okay. I feel like there has to be a Drake upgrade in the future. I agree with this. I do think what will most likely happen is the next Rare Bay Get battle, Gold Leon Claw gets replaced by Black Hell's Chain, and then after the Cobalt Drake gets replaced with like a UX Drake. And it would make sense anyways that maybe Chrome would just upgrade during that time or something. Or not whatever variant, sports equipment. UX teaser also specifically calls out the fastest blade in the other. Yeah, it's all this fancy marketing around speed. That's why I think it has to be related to the Bay time shift. Yeah, exactly. Unseen act. Honestly, like it's a joke at this point. But it might be true. I got a name for a drawn saber. I thought drawn Excalibur, and I only said Excalibur because Beyblade X, but also it's a legendary weapon. But also I did think, how many variants of these bays are they gonna, like, how many seasons we're gonna go by where it's gonna be a drawn, a wizard, and a hell? Like, at a certain point, I would like it if they just hold off, because now we're already at 3. Okay, I don't want 4. If we get 4 drawns, 4 hells, like 4, they gotta relax. They're going too hard on like the burst method. Which Plastic Gen remake do you think TT will replace? I think they're just gonna go. I think it's just gonna be Drigger S, Dragoon, Drasil. I don't like Triopio. Doesn't really change anything. It's a top 10 list. They just go by order of what came out, and they just go through that. That's pretty much what they've been doing. What are our options in order to guarantee a purchase of an updated TT part from merchants? That is a very, very good question indeed. Okay. Well, for me, because I gotta plug Molly, see the activated trap card, buddy, mollabays.com. Whenever I'm going to be getting the rest of my Sphinx wings, I will be checking to see. So I will probably put an update on my store if I have, I'll put like mold 1 or mold 2 or whatever. I don't have a stupid box next to me. It would be in the production code, so let me see. What is, I don't know. I can't find it. Okay, whatever. If someone knows, if someone has like a Sphinx wing they can go see the production code of, whatever that is, you can maybe post it later in the comments. You'd be seeing that later production of the thing. Just get a Sphinx wing, like... That's probably also why most of them are sold out, actually, in the market and in general, because, I don't know, wait a month, then get a Sphinx wing. If it's from the people who are importing the stuff, like me, for an example... If it states in the description, assume it is. If not, ask a question. Because that's going to be very hard to tell. Okay, seeing HMS in HMS Bays and X would be cool. Yes. Hope we get Dragoon Man. Well, I mean, Dragoons are already guaranteed anyways. We're going to go over some other stuff. I'll make my own ding troll. Fair enough, my friend. Okay, so next up. Okay, we got... Sorry, this is a small base plug. Now, next up, I'll answer a few more questions, but let me just say this. We did some digging, right? The Beyblade scene investigation. And let me just say this. We have found... Come closer. No, come closer. No, that's way... No, you're too far. No, get back. Come. We have found the biggest news for Beyblade right now that will be dropping tomorrow. It will be a collaboration with Cypress. It is really, like, in terms of actual news, I don't know when's the last time we got something this big. Probably, I don't know. Like, for something of this scale, I want to say like anytime, maybe like a couple of months, whenever we got the listings for all this stuff, maybe then. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Now listen, I can't say what it is. It's relevant news. We did a lot of digging. We have most of the information that we want. There's some info I'm still trying to find. And keep in mind, there'll be one part that'll be tricky to answer, but a lot of questions of a particular topic people kept asking about will more or less get answered at least, and you'll at least get a good idea of it. Can we at least have a hint for the news? Well, I can't give a hint. It's not that I don't want to. It's like, okay, let me try to think. Hello, hey, returner to the hobby here. What is the most bang for your buck product to start out with for what I'm mentioning competitive? Well, I will throw in the plug for my store. Well, I am stocking up this week, my friend, so if you want to check out the store and support it, you can. But there's the Sphinx wing Phoenix Wing is like the best one. The BX, what is it, 23? Let me see, BX23. Phoenix Wing, the Drawn Dagger set. I would also say the entry set, the one that has the Wizard Arrow and the Drawn Sword. That's like the best one to start off with, because you get Drawn Sword, which is solid enough, Wizard good enough for stamina. If you get that entry set with the 2 bays, and then after the battle entry set, and then the Phoenix Wing, like that's already good enough to at least start off. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else we can say? No, I don't want to keep trolling now on the teaser stuff. Aside from that, oh, important actually. Okay, I was considering maybe doing a polling, but since I've already covered a lot of video topics, I covered, oh no, I didn't do that yet. Okay, well that's good. I have a video planned for the DB Stadium versus Burst Stadium, kind of just a good discussion on that. If there's any type of video topics you want to see me cover, or any, Throwback Thursdays or any stuff like that, let me know. Because we're at the point where there is absolutely... there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. So, let me know. Because I would love to do like another Bay History stuff, or even the other one. But the database I'm working on, I've been busy with my studies, so I can't. So anything that's maybe a little bit smaller, I'm okay with. So at least let me know in that regard. But aside from that, okay, dates to watch out for. Monday for the big news stuff. I think this is fair to hype this up. I don't think there's any, I'd say it's pretty good scale. For UX Info TT, that stuff you're going to see on the 14th. And, okay, that's about it. I managed to survive this week, okay? My tech finally didn't... The stream is working, the chat is working. I still need to fix one, but listen, we're back in action, all right? So aside from that, I want to thank everyone who showed up for the live show today. Stay tuned to now. I will at least give the time for the video. That'll be dropping tomorrow. Assuming I'm not stuck on my work I have to do later today. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. EST, around that time. My channel and Cypress channel, stay tuned for that. Aside from that, that'll be it for now. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care and bye. Oh no, I think I hit the top. Sorry, I hit the void for a second.